From warriors that would apparently turn into werewolves to fighters that were faster than lightning, here are the top 5 terrifying ancient warrior urban legends. Number 5 on this list is the Comanche's speed. Apparently these warriors could move faster than anyone, and this lightning quick speed struck fear into any of those who battled them. Ranker says the Comanche tribe dwelled throughout the American Southwest from as early as the 1500s and are believed to be the first of the Plains Indians to have horses. They learned to use them with great effect. According to Mexican General Manuel de Mierteran, who faced their vicious onslaughts. Their mode of attack is generally by arranging the lances in front, the guns in the center, and bows in the rear. Their horses at full speed, accompanied with the fury and yellings of demons, they were among the bravest and most warlike of the Mexican tribes. These extremely fast attacks seemed to defy all physics and left their opponents stunned and usually too wounded to do anything but surrender. No one knows how they were so fast or if there was something supernatural about them. Most likely they were just well-trained warriors who acted swiftly, and the legend has snowballed over the years to represent these lightning-quick fighters. Whatever the case, it apparently didn't matter how fast you were or how fast your horse was. You were no match for the Comanche. Number 4 on this list is the Berserkers. I talked about these ancient warriors in a recent video where we looked at warriors that you wouldn't want to fight. We need to bring them up again though, because there's actually a crazy urban legend surrounding them, which is part of the reason why you'd never want to fight them. Wired says the legendary Viking warriors known as Berserkers were renowned for their ferocity in battle, purposely fighting in a trance-like state of blind rage, howling like wild animals, biting their shields, and often unable to distinguish between friend and foe in the heat of battle. But historians know very little about the Berserkers apart from scattered old Norse myths and epic sagas. Accounts of the Berserkers date back to a late 9th century poem to honor King Harald Fairhair. The 13th century Icelandic historian slash poet Snorri Sturluson described Odin's Berserkers as being mad as dogs or wolves and strong as bears or wild oxen, killing people with a single blow. Specific attributes can vary widely among the accounts, often veering into magic or mysticism. There are claims that Berserkers were not affected by edged weapons or fire, but they could be killed with clubs. Other claims say they could blunt the blades of their enemies with spells or just by giving them the evil eye. Most accounts at least agree on the primary defining characteristic: a blind, ferocious rage. The legends surrounding these warriors became so well known and scattered throughout Europe that no one knew what to believe anymore. It was widely thought that these people would actually turn into wolves and beasts when they entered battle, like werewolves almost, becoming incredibly fast and strong and impossible to take down in a fight. Whether this is actually true or not is still unknown. I guess that's what makes it a good urban legend, but still, an urban legend that you probably would never want to see face to face. Number 3 on this list are the Aztecs. The Aztecs were particularly fearsome warriors who did whatever they had to get the win, even if that meant sacrificing their loved ones to gain the power of the gods. Ranker says, the gods of the Aztecs never ceased to thirst, and because the gods relied on bloodletting for nourishment, the Aztecs thrived in a state of constant warfare with intent to sacrifice. Children began training as early as the age of 5 and earned warrior status upon capturing their first sacrificial victim. They then used clubs, bows, spears, and darts to disable captives, skin and dismember them before their hearts were finally gouged out. Aztec warriors were spiritually motivated, thus their discipline and ferocity are often credited as the forces that long ensured their victory. It's believed that these warriors had a strong relationship with their god, and it was this relationship and the sacrifices that they made that allowed them to conquer as much as they did. Godlike powers would flow through them and they were almost unstoppable. They were stronger, faster, and smarter than any other warrior when they were in this state, and they were almost impossible to kill. However, with this great power comes its drawbacks. They were also much crueler in that heightened state as well. A Spanish conquistador who battled the Aztecs and somehow managed to escape with his life wrote, "Anyone facing them for the first time can be terrified by their screams and their ferocity. In warfare, they are the most cruel people to be found, for they spare neither brothers, relatives, friends, nor women. Even if they are beautiful, they kill them all and eat them." Yeah. The Aztecs weren't above eating people either, and they would do that from time to time. Maybe this was their animalistic godlike instincts taking over, I don't really know, but it is believed to have happened. You wouldn't have wanted to face the Aztecs ever, but you especially wouldn't have wanted to face them after a sacrifice, because it would have been like facing off against a god. Number 2 on this list is the Scythians Fainting. This next entry details a very specific tactic that it's believed the Scythians used in combat. The tactic would apparently drain the opponent of sanity and may have included them becoming invisible. Ranker says the Scythians were renowned for the strength of their cavalry, but to their opponents, the Romans, Greeks, and Persians, the Scythians were also a deceitful lot. Rather than prancing straight into the fire, the Scythians found success with a tactic called feinting. With this tactic, they would retreat from the front lines, causing their enemies to just relax enough for the Scythians to return with a surprise ambush of archers on horseback. They were regarded as invisible menaces who starved enemies by scorching their land before proceeding with attacks during mealtime and sleeping hours. Those opposing them could neither sleep, eat, nor defend themselves with clarity of mind. Rather than riches, the Scythians cherished their ability to roam and kept few belongings so that their getaways were swift and their enemies reaped no rewards. It got to the point where any shadow that flew past or any sound of any kind would set off their opponents into a frenzy, thinking that it was the Scythians. They were able to get in their head, and rumors started spreading that they could be invisible. It was also believed that anyone who fought, their mental state would deteriorate quickly afterwards. This is probably all exaggerated through word of mouth, but I can understand how this could have been believed. If you constantly had to be on guard at all times with no idea where your enemy was and how they could strike, that would cause your brain to start messing up a bit too. And finally, number 1 on this list is the Maori Warrior ancestors. These ancient warriors utilized the power of their ancestors in battle and would grow extremely strong when they did this. Worshipping these ancestors, though, was done in a bit of a strange manner. Ranker says in 1642 the Dutch East India Company anchored its ships off the shores of New Zealand with sights set on inhabiting the mysterious island. The Maori, carved head to toe with tattoos, appeared the following day, prepared for battle. The Maori's main strategy was to ambush the enemy during the nighttime. In victorious celebration, they dismembered and supposedly ate their enemies' body parts, theoretically as a form of revenge originating from mythology. The Maori believed they were consuming their victims' spirits and nourishing those of their ancestors. So apparently these people believed that and eating their enemies would make them grow stronger in battle. Their ancestors would feast, and as they fed those spirits, they would grow stronger for their next fight. I highly doubt that this actually worked, but apparently they were pretty fearsome warriors, so people started to wonder if there was some truth to this tactic. I'm not really sure why their ancestors couldn't have just been happy with a really nice cooked steak, but I guess that's why I'm not a Maori warrior. But there you have it, folks. That is our list of the top 5 terrifying ancient warrior urban legends. Please let me know in the comments down below what you thought about this list and some other scary urban legends that you guys know about. Also, please hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching. I've been your host, Nicholas Playlog, and I will catch you next time.